Hi, my name is Ilman Zairi bin Baha. My matrix number is 2025115001. In this video, I will be talking about currency. The title of my presentation is USD the King of Currency? Why can't we do trades between ringgit and rupiah? Why should we do it with only USD? In this video, I will share some of the facts about US dollar rising. As a Malaysian, we all use Ringgit Malaysia to buy foods, to pay bills and to shop. But have you ever wondered why our Ringgit Malaysia currency is lower than the US dollar? As a Malaysian citizen who uses the Ringgit Malaysia currency for the rest of my life, I became curious about the value of each currency in the world. So I asked myself, why can't RM Ringgit Malaysia become as great as the US dollar? So I did some research to know deeper. In this video, I will explain about how the US dollar became the king of currency. Let's begin by looking back at the history. Ever since the United States of America became the biggest power during the Bretton Woods Conference, every global trade must be centralized by the US dollar. It impacts every country and every trade globally. Everything involved is in the US dollar. Every country has a US dollar reserve. It is the world financial reserve for every country. The United States dollar has been the world's primary reserve currency for over 60 years. Under the Bretton Woods system, the dollar was pegged to gold and most other currencies were pegged to the dollar. As a result of this arrangement, dollars were used as the main intervention. Have you ever wondered how much is the percentage of our country's exports to the US? The US is in the top 5 list of our country's exports, with the percentage of 14.60% of exports going to the US. Besides the United States of America, Malaysia also exports to a lot of other countries. Our country exports electrical and electronics, or E&E, to the US, such as semiconductor and microchips. We also export the rubber gloves to the US. For your information, rubber gloves and E&E, or electronics and electrical, are the top exports from our country to the US. The US dollar is the financial reserve for every country. By default, every global trade must be done by the US dollar. But can we do trade by other currencies like rupiah and ringgit Malaysia? Yes, we can. But since the US dollar has become the standard in global trading, it is easier to be done by the US dollar. Overall, in global trade, the world currency is USD. It is a very strong currency. In any country, any legal tender must be done by the country's own currency. They cannot do trades aside using the country's own currency. For example, in Malaysia, we do our legal tender trades by using Ringgit Malaysia or the Kijang Emas gold coin, since it is the country's currency. We cannot do legal trade with the US dollar. The US dollar can only be exchanged. Ever since the US has become the superpower in the nation, they have become the dictator in world policy, and they are the ones who decide how the world is going to be ruled. For example, they have created the International Police, or also known as Interpol. The influence of the US is very strong, from financial, banking system, rate of interest, and fine systems. Since the start of the US oil production after being found by Saudi Arabia, every global trade of oil must be done by US dollar. This is how the early times of the petrodollar economy happened. What does petrodollar means? Petrodollars are dollars paid to oil-producing countries for their exports. The petrodollar emerged as an economic concept in the 1970s as growing US imports of increasingly costly crude oil increased the dollar holdings of foreign producers. As a conclusion, in the world of economies, the USD may have the crown for now. But remember, even kings don't rule forever. Now that we already know how the US dollar became the leading currency in global trade and the world, the USD remains the world leading currency today, symbolizing economic strength and global influence. Yet, in a changing world, even the strongest empire eventually face challenges. That's all from me. Thank you.